my name is Billy. Let me introduce you to Christine, who will be summarizing our story and reviewing the consequences, Daniela, who will be recommending the best practices that could be used for the prevention of future instances, and Heather, who will be concluding our presentation. Our presentation is on topic 4, how ethics influences the use of confidential information and the protection of that information by an organization for their clients, patients, customers, students, etc. We are defining ethics as a set of values that consistently guides our behaviors. These values are usually in alignment with the majority of the society's definitions of correct and positive behavior within legal parameters, balancing the good of the individual with the good of the whole. While we are defining confidential information as a combination of any information that identifies and describes an individual, including his or her name in conjunction with Social Security numbers, protected health information, and financial account information. Now here's Christine presenting our story. Go.
Thank you, Billy. The news story we have chosen for our example of unethical use and protection of confidential information is about an employee of Countrywide Home Loans who stole the confidential information of 2 million customers. Renee Rabolo, who worked as a senior financial analyst for Countrywide, found a breakdown in Countrywide's computer security. He discovered that one of the computers at his office didn't have the security features in place to prevent files from being downloaded to an external device. He took advantage of this breakdown. He started going into the office Sunday evenings when no one else was around and downloading the confidential information of customers onto his personal flash drive. The information he stole included customers' names, social security numbers, addresses, and financial information. He would download about 20,000 files each week. He would then sell the batches of information as mortgage leads to third parties. This data theft went on for a period of 2 years until Countrywide finally detected the breach and notified the FBI. By selling off confidential information, Renee Rabolo went against his ethical obligation to his customers and breached Countrywide's code of business ethics. His unethical behavior hurt many people, including the customers, his employer, and himself. The customers that he victimized are now at a high risk of identity theft. They will need to diligently monitor their credit reports to protect themselves. His employer, Countrywide, had a class action lawsuit filed against them for failing to protect their customers' confidential information, which has resulted in Bank of America, who now owns Countrywide, having to pay up to $50,000 to customers if they become the victim of identity theft. Renee Rabolo was arrested, but is currently out on bail, and is scheduled to go to trial this month. He is facing up to 5 years in federal prison. Now here's Daniela to review our best practices.
Thank you, Christine. As we all know, confidential information is not releasable. No employee may disclose confidential information gained through their job or otherwise use confidential information for personal gain or benefit. According to Protecting Personal Information Guide for Business, a sound data security plan is built on 5 key principles. Number 1, take stock, which means know what personal information you have in your files and on your computers. Number 2, scale down. Keep only what you need for your business. Number 3, lock it. Protect the information that you keep. Number 4, page tag. Properly dispose of what you no longer need. And 5, plan ahead. Create a plan to respond to security incidents. Maintaining the integrity of confidential information is critical to the success of any business. Good ethics is good business. The best practice advice for business professionals in our case includes having a company security policy, offering corporate ethics training, setting a good personal example, signing a non-disclosure agreement, and motivating and rewarding employees. Other security measure a business can take is to enforce high security features. Establish passwords for computers, secure data with encryption, implement a firewall, assign unique ID to each employee authorized to access data, record, monitor, and report all access to network, and restrict and secure all physical access to premises. Physical access includes building access, documentation shredding and storage bin security, employee identification and monitoring secured areas. An example of good business practices is the case of Molina Healthcare. The company uses software that replaces sensitive information with fake data when the database is replicated for shipment to an outside agency, then remaps the fake data back to the real information when the processed database is returned. As a conclusion, ethics are important not only in business but in all aspects of life because it is an essential part of the foundation on which our civilized society is built. A business or society that lacks ethical principles is bound to fail sooner or later. And now here is Heather with the conclusions.
The way an organization and its employees protect an individual's privacy is influenced by principles. There is a general assumption that when a person gives out their personal information, it will be protected and only used for that specific matter. It is not presumed that the business employee or a medical office will release your data to anyone other than the necessary parties involved in the process. However, as hard as we may try to protect confidential information from getting into the wrong hands, there are still ways in which this information can be released. The countrywide scenario is a great example of how crucial it is for an organization to maintain high security features to protect their client's identity and personal information. As we just learned, a few of these crucial steps to be taken to ensure the protection of confidential information are having a security policy and offering corporate ethics training, establish passwords or IDs and encryption to secure data, implement a firewall, record, monitor, and report all access to network, restrict and secure all physical access to premises. If Countrywide had had stricter security procedures such as Molina Healthcare, this incident wouldn't have happened. Each business or organization may have different levels of security and its own safety regulations. However, they should all stand behind the same principles. Be aware of the files containing personal information, protect the personal files, dispose of the files when no longer needed, and prepare a plan for security incidents. In order to maintain trust and confidence with clients, customers, and employees, high security on all files and documents is expected. Not only is it necessary but needed and should not be ignored. The lack of responsibility in this area can result in identity theft, release of financial information, and the disclosure of personal information. Any organization will lose credibility if there is a lack of security, as it is unethical not to take every precaution for security of those involved.